Alrighty, here's a little shorthand idea of how invisibly set stones or invisibly set pieces are set. This is the way that I learned, and there's another way where they make a grid, like a honeycomb shape, for whatever size shape stones they are. If they're squares, they'll make a grid of squares. And the basic principle is the same, is that the stone has a double girdle. If you look here, there's the top girdle that we're used to seeing, but then it goes in, and then there's an interior inset girdle, and then the second girdle, and then the bottom of the stone. So the stones are actually cut with this groove in them. And typically somebody who's working on a piece, who's experienced enough to be working on a piece with invisible setting, they work in tandem with a stone cutter to make sure the stones fit perfectly, and God forbid one breaks or something, that they can stop right then and make a new stone to fit. Because try to fit a stone, make a stone fit after the fact is tough. So the way this is done, and I want you to imagine, the example I used is a puffed heart. So it's domed a little bit here in the center. And it's done, these are all rubies, square rubies, beautifully set, and it's mysterious, right? So this is the way it's done that I learned. And that is that there's going to be a master row in the center at the widest place. Now, it wouldn't make sense to go from top to bottom because these go up above. So in this case, you would have to go across the widest center. You can imagine if it's a square or a circle, it'd be a lot easier to figure out. But sometimes you have odd shapes, like flower shapes and stuff, so a lot of thought goes into this. But what they would do is make not so much a grid, because you don't need the cross lines with this method. You only need the straight lines. And imagine that they're like railroad tracks or trolley tracks that go up and down, and you've got that metal framework and no stones are in it yet. So all you need to do is take these custom cut stones, drop them into this blank space, and slide them down. And you're going to know right away if one doesn't fit, if one doesn't match, and you can stop what you're doing and cut its replacement, or have your lapidary cut the replacement right then and there. So when it's done, it truly is flawless. And then after all these are just, all they have to do is slide into place. So there's no stress on the stones at all. This master row you would set separately, all on its own, probably sliding them in from the end instead of, the sides, whatever works for you, probably in this case the ends. And then once these are all done, that drops in and would either laser nowadays or back in the day be riveted in place. And that's going to stop any of these stones from falling out. And God forbid it ever needs repair work, a master jeweler or somebody who knows what they're doing could just pull out that row and have a stone cut, do metal work, whatever they need to do. When you snap the stones into a grid, it may be easier, it may seem easier to actually execute that and finish the piece, but over the long run, over the history of the piece, if you're making something with this much work, you want it to last 100 years or more, don't use the grid method. Use this method. This is what the masters used. And I hope that makes sense. And here you can see in this one where the grid would be, these railroad tracks, for lack of a better term. Here, I'll make them yellow. Even there might be white gold, but just so they stand out more, I'll make them yellow so you can see where the grid goes. And because of this double girdle, that diamond-shaped train track again, when these all go together, these are going to be girdle to girdle, and none of the metal is going to show. Hope that works. Hope that helps.